Hey there everyone, Hitesh here, back again with another video, and in this video, let's answer some of your questions.
Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do?
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate all those people who have been following me on the Facebook. We have successfully completed our 3 months of consistency and haven't taken a single day off. I hope you are enjoying this consistency just by posting on my Facebook day 1, day 2. It takes just a second, but it again and again reminds you about your goal and what you really want to learn. It doesn't cost you anything, and all the people are already seeing some great amount of result with that. So in case you are not aware of it, go on my Facebook page, links in the description, and you just have to follow the everything that we are doing there, like posting day 1, day 2. And can you believe this, like 3 months of consistency, and this is our 4th month without even a Sunday off or any single day off. So congratulations to all of those people. Now coming up to your questions part, this video can be a little bit longer because I don't like to play rapid fire round. I like to give thorough answer to your question. Just stay here, chill out, calm, and just talk about your questions. So let's pick up your very first question, which is an interesting one. Sir, help me out. I cannot afford to do private B.Tech and I love coding. I want to go in CS field. Sir, help. Now, if you cannot afford like a heavy end bachelor's degree in technical or B.Tech, it's not at all like compulsion. You should have a B.Tech to become a programmer. Without even have a B.Tech degree, you can pursue programming stream, and I have seen a lot of people doing it already and are successful and are working in big giant companies. One of my friend is working in Uber and he didn't had a B.Tech degree and he's an amazing Android developer. So yes, if he can do that, you can also do that. Having a degree is not at all compulsion, but since you don't have degree, you have to work extraordinarily hard so that you can have whatever the field you are choosing up, you can have a lot of portfolio and a lot of knowledge onto it. So go ahead and surely you can pursue programming without having an official degree. The next question is actually fun one. It says, how can I keep myself up to date to new technology and market since college syllabus is really out of date? How can I know which language or software has more demand in market? Now, in simple words, what I can say is if you want to get all these knowledge and update, do hit that subscribe button. That would be really your first choice. But of course, there are a lot of blogs, and I would highly recommend to keep an eye on Stack Overflow and Stack Exchange for a lot of these recent trends and answer. And you can easily check out on the Stack Overflow which questions are more overcoming and where the trend is going on. And yes, I do agree that the tech channel which actually talk about this programming stuff and market trend are very less in number, and that's why this channel is growing like really at a very high rate. But yes, obviously they will come up as the time progresses. I'll leave down the link of the couple of Google official blogs and all of that so that you can follow up. A good way is always to subscribe this channel and keep collecting the knowledge just like you are doing right now. So in the next one, we actually have 2 questions, but I would have one answer to both of them. The first question says how to create balance with healthy and physically in programming job life, and the second one says tell us about how to handle programming and stuff, our personal project along with exams, which is just like mugging up kind of thing just because makes you eligible for placements. Now yes, this is like a lot of people might be thinking these are 2 separate questions, but answer to this question is actually just one word, which is time management and your priorities. Now, it all depends on what are your priorities, and based on that, you can fix up your time management as well. Like for me, in the evening time, it's like the priorities actually go shift that I should go either to gym or to swimming or somehow, because I have learned the hard way that managing your health is really amazing. I still do sometimes slips out the sleeping time and all of that. But yes, I make my priority that at least the exercise time doesn't goes out, because once you are healthy, you can actually work a lot more, which is much more efficient. So I do that. Now in the college time also, I have been into this phase where I wanted to work on my project, but then the college exams and everything came up. Now I personally, what I think about that is if you are going to get fail in those exams or will get backlog, that's actually a much more time waste. So it's rather good to just study that thing at that particular time and just clear off your exam, at least with the minimum grade. That's okay, fine too, but at least just clear them up, because restudying for that and re-giving that exam is actually a time waste. So don't do that time waste. At least study that much so that you can get pass at least. Let's move on to the next question, which is also fun. I've been following your channel since 3K subscriber. That's almost a year now. It was a long journey, and best part ever happened to me. I have observed that you have a constant smile on your face. What's the hack for it? Love you, sir. Hey Rahul, nice question there. And the reason for my smile is actually two reasons are there. The first one is the phase that I came up at this point of life. My old phase was really harsh. I had a really tough childhood and all of these things. And moving to this phase is all good. It's like a dream life for me. From where I came, I never thought that I'll be making so far and so good in life. So that's my number one reason. And the second thing is my hobbies. And my number one hobby is on being on YouTube, which is like amazing community. Like you can just see the comments here. The love that is flowing on this channel is amazing. I never thought that people are gonna show this much of love to me. This is like insane. I don't have words to just say what I really want to say at this thing. But yes, this love is actually the reason for my smile, the love from the people that's coming up. So I think YouTube is the best thing that ever happened to me and keeps me happy, keeps me smiling. So keep this love coming up, and I just love you all. And just I expected, somebody is going to post questions into questions into questions. So same thing happened here. There are a series of questions here. Hi sir, in January Q&A, you gave little bit extra marks Zuckerberg over Musk. What's your opinion after Tesla Roadster project? Now, first of all, the Roadster project was killing. It really nailed it down to everything, and Musk really showed something really amazing and awesome. About Zuckerberg, I would say that it's his worst time in the life, and he's going through the really a tough time. Just like you might have seen the Logan Paul situation, it's even 10 times worse with the Mark Zuckerberg. So let's just leave this guy alone for a few days or few months until everything gets settled down. And this doesn't mean I'm a hater of Musk. It's not like that. I have read his books and I have read his biography and all of that, so it's all impressive. It's not about I'm favoring any one of them. I am just favoring whoever is doing the most work, which we all can see and consume. I would love that guy, honestly. So I just believe in who is ever is showing his work nicely and the results actually. So my favor always goes to the person who is working well and is showing some results. Okay, another question is actually fun one from the same guy. And he says, now in India, everyone concerned about Facebook data leak, but not in Aadhaar data leak. What's your view on that? So yeah, Aadhaar data leak was quite in news for a long time, and everybody is now Facebook. Now the point is, the government handling the government or saying anything about them, you can just say, but you cannot do much about it. And honestly, you are not doing much about the Facebook data concern as well. Whatever he's doing actually takes a lot of guts. First of all, that Mark came out and said that yes, we made a mistake. I wish some of the politicians could have that kind of guts and could have said that yes, we have done some mistakes. So extra point to the Mark here that he came out. Apart from this, the Aadhaar data leak is concerned, I would say that yeah, that's kind of a tricky situation. But anyways, until unless they get registered in some kind of bug bounty programs, very high and tight security is kind of almost impossible without those programs. So, and the third question from the same guy, sir, when you post Google Facebook interview related video? Actually, I was a little bit busy in the March with some amazing project. I'll do that announcement very soon on the YouTube. But I was a little bit busy with that. It's amazing. Apart from these interview questions, you're gonna love this next upcoming few videos very soon. So stay tuned. A lot of good news are coming up. Next question is from Rabindra Joshi, and it's really fun one. He says, how do I learn to play guitar? Hey Rabindra, as soon as I will come to know that how to play guitar, I'll surely personally message you how to do it. As of now, I am just unaware as just like you. The next question is fun, and it says, should I jump to Java after C? Now, if you always wanted to learn Java, you even don't need to learn C. I have made a couple of videos on this. You can directly jump on to Java, or as a matter of fact, any programming language directly. There is no correlation with any other of that. But in case you have already learned C, surely it's going to help because the concept of loop, functions, and all these things stays same in every programming language. So experience with any other programming language also helps in other programming language as well. So no need to learn anything else. Just go ahead and move on to my Java bootcamp at learncodeonline.in. Okay, this question is something which is personally close because I faced the situation. By the way, I am from an electronics branch, so that's why this question is. It says, I am from chemical engineer and I have learned Python from LCO, also have learned JavaScript and currently learning web development. I love coding. Should I think about branch change after B.Tech? Now, I also came from a different branch, which is electronics, but it's not very far away from computers. We learned a lot of things about microcontrollers, processor, data structures, algorithms, and all of that. But as far as you're concerned, your branch is completely way off different. Chemical is completely different from that. But now every branch is actually somehow affected or is being included with the computers. So even if you are not able to change that, that's completely fine. You can still pursue programming as a hobby and later on can take it as a full-fledged. But in case there are chances that you can switch that, I would recommend that because your interest is in programming. So surely changing that really makes sense. But in case you are not able to do so, it's fine, it's okay. Probably some of the things that you'll be learning in chemical engineering and mixing with that programming can come up with a super hit idea as well. So no need to be worried about. Every knowledge that you gain from any branch, it's always helpful, it's always useful. Okay, Kunal says, I want to make Python GUI with advanced graphics. Please make a video on that. Now, when I was in college, I made a project in Python and I used tkinter to get GUI for that. I think tkinter is still one of the best in getting the GUI with Python. And I have absolutely no idea what you mean by advanced graphic. If you can, like in the comment section, explain a little bit more detail about it, probably I can answer that in a better way. And this one is actually my favorite question of all the questions here. I desperately need answer of this funny question that why programmers love coffee. Hey buddy, are you new on this channel? At this channel, I'm a big fan of iced tea. Yes, I do love coffee too, but if I would given a chance to choose between coffee and iced tea, it would be any day iced tea. So yeah, like not all programmers love coffee. Some of them are a big fan of iced tea and tea as well. I really wanted to address this question. It says, do you go to YouTube creators event? Now, I would love to go to YouTube creators event. In fact, a couple of times I thought about it, but I do have limited amount of time that I can spend in going to these events. And all those times when I planned, actually, some invite came up from some university or tech fest or something like that. And the audience at this channel who loves me a lot is actually in the engineering colleges. So I always have given preferences to go to universities as compared to these events. I would love to go these events, make some new friends from YouTube community. But as of now, my priorities goes most of the engineering colleges, going there. It's so fun to be back at random campuses. People know you there. They try to ask all of your programming questions, and you are really there to help them. It gives me much more good feeling as compared to these events. I will try to go into these creators events surely in future, but as of now the priorities are totally for engineering colleges, and again, time is really limited with me. That is really a thoughtful question. It says, if you were not a programmer then. Now, when I was a kid, I really wanted to become a cricketer. Yeah, of course, you cannot blame me for that. I have seen the players like Rahul Dravid and Sachin. They batted so well and all of that. Like anybody in India who have seen these players playing, they really want to be cricketer at the early childhood. After that, during my school time, like the last days, I wanted to become a physics professor. That was like, if I wouldn't be a programmer, I would surely have been a physics professor. But the moment I saw coding and all these stuffs, this fascinates me, and now I cannot even think that I would have chosen any other career. Programming is all here, so no chance of that. I'm gonna stick with programming forever. That's what it is me. It's all programming stuff. Now the next question is actually fun one and is about programming. It says, what was the bottleneck for you when you were learning programming? Now, I had two tough situations when I was learning programming at the beginning. I spent a lot of time with C and C++ as well. And pointer was one of the concepts that was a nightmare for me. I was not able to imagine how things are there until unless that imagination came to me about pointers. It was so tough for me to just nail it down and create some projects and stuff like that. So that was my first nightmare. The second nightmare came up with the JavaScript, and I was so terrified about this keyword. This keyword was the toughest one for me to understand, and because I came up from a background where I coded a lot in C++ and Python, and in those programming languages, this keyword is like really rock solidly defined. But in JavaScript, it's completely like a nightmare. It's a mess. And later on, I figured it out when I had really good understanding of programming that this keyword is completely broken in JavaScript, and that was the whole point of confusion. Now, yes, in the ES6 version of JavaScript, this is fixed now, and by this I mean this keyword. This is fixed now, and it's so much better. It was really a nightmare. So these are the 2 points where I struggled a lot. The next question is about interviews. Do interviewers ask object-oriented design questions in every software developer interview? Now, it totally depends on what kind of company you are applying. If the company is already having a product in the market, surely they're going to ask you object-oriented design question. And if it's a startup and things like that, they usually don't ask that. That's personally what I have faced. If it is a rock solid company, surely they're going to ask for it. Now, for rest of the people, let me just be clear that if you're thinking that here I'm talking about classes and objects and inheritance, no, I'm not. This is not object-oriented programming. I'm talking about here is object-oriented design, and it's a little bit different from your classes and object. Here we really talk about UML and all these stuff. So yes, these are being asked quite a lot. And the final question is really interesting. It says, I am in 4th semester of Bachelor's of Computer Science. I'm already working on some projects as a freelance, and also I have 1 to 2 pending on my list. That's really a good stats. I am unable to manage my time. Is it okay if I keep working on the projects, or should I leave it now until I get graduate from university? Now that's okay. I have faced this situation in my college journey as well. I would highly recommend you to not to leave your projects, because in the college, you are learning and studying all these things. That's good. But as soon as your college is going to be completed, you will be dealing all these projects, and this is going to be whole life for you. So don't leave these projects. Just reduce down of taking new projects. But at least whatever the project you have in your hand, just complete them and still pay a lot of time to your project work, because this is going to be your life for your lifetime, and college is going to just pass on within a few years or months, maybe depends on where you are right now. But again, I would not recommend you to leave all these projects work. I'm sure you're going to find some ways to manage that, but my advice is stay on with this project. The thing that you're learning with this project is far more high as compared to what you're going to be learning at the university. So in no case I'm going to advise you to leave those projects. Keep on doing with that and figure out some of the ways to handle the time here. So pretty long video, isn't it? Yeah, I know it was a long video. I don't like to give a rapid fire round. I just want to have like interaction and a proper meaningful answers to all of those questions. So I hope you have enjoyed this March Q&A. This is one of my favorite series because it's so fun to answer all of your questions. I post all of my questions on my Facebook page. I just manage my Facebook. Apart from that, handling other social media is not at all possible for me. I also manage my Instagram as well, but as far as concerned, I'm still not on Twitter. So go ahead, follow me up on Instagram, as well as don't forget to join me on my Facebook page. That's the important one. So that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed, if you're still with me, you have enjoyed this long, very long Q&A. Notify me in the comment section that if still you were with me. Have you watched this video completely, or you just went out of half of the way? It's okay if you have turned this video off in the halfway. That's completely fine as well. So do hit the like button, and just customary, in case you haven't yet subscribed to the video, go ahead, subscribe. We are having so much fun at this tech programming channel. Catch you up in the next video.
So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time.